Warning, some viewers may find this content disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
My creatures of the night, I see you have once again ventured back here into the Fox Den for another episode of Midnight Lycanthropy here on LordeStarfox Radio. We are in the 207, my hunting grounds, trying to figure out what is occurring. Yet, please excuse me for 1 minute. Much needed and well deserved, and I can feel the power coming back and flowing through my veins. Without further ado, it is time for Marc, Tessier, and Kevin Sapal Jr. and myself to take a walk into the darkness. Let's hand Midnight Century the mic, and he will start this episode off.
The Dogman, a mysterious cryptid rumored to inhabit various regions in North America, has garnered significant interest and intrigue, particularly in the state of Maine. Let's take a look into the legend of the Dogman in the state, exploring its history, reported sightings, cultural impact, and the ongoing debate surrounding its existence. The legend of the Dogman, while not as globally renowned as some other cryptids like Bigfoot, has a rich history rooted in Native American folklore and early settler tales. The concept of a humanoid creature with canine features appears in various indigenous cultures across North America, often depicted as a shapeshifter or a spiritual guardian. These early stories set the foundation for the modern interpretation of the Dogman. In Maine, the Dogman legend intertwines with local folklore and the state's dense, expansive forests, which provide an ideal backdrop for such mysterious tales. Maine's history, characterized by its vast wilderness and small, isolated communities, has been a fertile ground for the growth of cryptid stories, including the Dogman. Over the years, Maine has been a hotspot for reported Dogman encounters. These sightings often describe a large, bipedal creature with the head of a wolf or a large dog, shrouded in an aura of eeriness and unpredictability. Witnesses typically report feeling an intense sense of fear and unease during these encounters, further adding to the creature's mystique. One notable sighting occurred in the late 1980s near the Allagash Wilderness Waterway, where a group of campers reported seeing a creature fitting the description of the Dogman. According to their accounts, the creature was unusually large, with glowing eyes and a menacing presence. This sighting, among others, has contributed to the growing legend of the Dogman in Maine. Here are a couple recent reports. On January 15, 2022, a man saw a huge dark-furred wolf walking upright outside his window in Oxford County, Maine. He said it had ears and a snout like a wolf but walked like a man. It was about 7 feet tall and had a muscular body. He watched it for a few seconds before it vanished into the night. He told his wife about it and she posted his story online. She said he had seen the same creature twice before in different locations. On December 10, 2021, a hunter encountered a strange creature in the woods near Augusta, Maine. He was hunting deer when he noticed something moving in the trees. He aimed his rifle and saw a large animal that looked like a cross between a bear and a dog. It had brown fur, a long tail, and a canine face. It stood on its hind legs and growled at him. He fired a shot but missed. The creature then ran away on all fours. He later reported his sighting to the Dogman Encounters website. The Dogman has become a part of the cultural fabric of Maine, influencing local art, literature, and folklore. This cryptid story has been the subject of numerous books, documentaries, and even local festivals, celebrating the mystery and allure of the unknown. In literature, the Dogman often appears as a symbol of the untamed wilderness that characterizes much of Maine's landscape. It represents the thin veil between civilization and the wild, unknown forces of nature. This theme resonates with many residents and visitors who are drawn to Maine's rugged and unspoiled beauty. The existence of the Dogman, like many other cryptids, is a subject of debate. Skeptics argue that sightings are likely misidentifications of known animals, such as bears or large dogs. They point to the lack of solid evidence, such as clear photographs, DNA samples, or physical remains, as indicators that the Dogman is a myth rather than a real entity. On the other hand, believers argue that the consistency of sightings and the historical roots of the legend lend credibility to the existence of the Dogman. They suggest that the creature's elusive nature and the vast, unexplored areas of Maine's wilderness make it plausible for such a creature to exist undetected by modern science. The Dogman of Maine remains an enigmatic figure in the world of cryptid lore. Its presence in the state's folklore and cultural expression speaks to the enduring human fascination with the unknown and the mysterious. Whether real or imagined, the legend of the Dogman continues to captivate the imaginations of those who hear its tale, serving as yet another reminder of the mysteries that may still lurk in the remote corners of our world.
Hey man, so I had what I think is a Dogman encounter. Real quick though, my name is Kevin. I host a podcast called Where the Weird Ones Are, and I talk to a bunch of people about their encounters involving cryptids, paranormal, aliens, and all types of things like that. I dig into conspiracies too. But yeah, man. So back in 2016, out in Shapley, Maine, I was living in a house that was surrounded by woods, and we had like a lot of the land out there sectioned off by rock walls, and there's this rock wall on the left side of the house, and it was a boulder, and this boulder was about 6 feet tall. And the only reason why I know that because my kids like to play on the rock wall, so I was out there and I was right next to this boulder. I'm 5'10", and the boulder was just a little bit bigger than me. There was one night, it was only me in the house. me and my 2 dogs. And coyotes like to come in the yard every once in a great while, so I get woken up to like chaos. My dogs are going crazy. They're scratching at the walls, right underneath the window and stuff, and I'm trying to get them to calm down. And I could hear the coyotes outside, and I'm just like, "You guys, we've been through this like 100 times." Like I have, because when they first heard the coyotes out there, like a couple years prior to us living there, they freaked out. It wasn't this bad though, but they got used to the coyotes like being in the area. Sometimes they would just like let out one bark or something, and they wouldn't even get up. You know what I mean? So, anyways, I get up because they're not calming down. I get up and I look out the window and I can see, the coyotes in the field next door to me. So it's a big wide open field. There's some moonlight, so I can see in the field. But there's like where the rock wall is. There's a tree line, and then behind the house is a vast acreage of just wilderness. So they definitely go out in those woods, and then they cross the street to the other woods a lot. And but yeah, so there's some trees, then the rock wall, then a couple more trees, and then this wide open field. And then I see like a coyote, which it was kind of small, which coyotes are kind of small anyway, but I assumed it was a female, but I could be wrong. Um, and it's walking down my driveway, limping, and I'm just like, oh no. So I left my window, and I went around. I went out into the living room, through the kitchen to the front door, and I turned the outside light on. Knowing that there's a bunch of other coyotes, I didn't just want to blindly run out there to this limping, what seemed to be injured coyote. And I'm watching it, and it's getting closer and closer to the house. And my dogs are trying to get out the door. They followed me to the door, and they're like thinking that I'm gonna let them outside to go to these coyotes. So I'm watching this coyote limp, and it comes into the light of my outside light, and I look to the left of the house again to see because I didn't want to just go out to like try and aid this, and I wasn't sure if this. I didn't even know if I wanted to go out to help this coyote anyway, just because being scared and stuff, it could end up biting me. But anyways, I looked to see where the rest of them were in the field, and I saw these red glowing eyes right where that boulder is, and it's like a little bit above the boulder, and I couldn't really make out any features or anything. I just saw the red eyes, and instantly, as soon as I saw them, this like spontaneous fear of just, oh my god, like I was so scared all of a sudden after like seeing these red eyes, and I was like, what the is that? And I flipped the switch for the light off, and as soon as the light went off, that coyote perked up and turned around and ran out of my driveway, not limping. So like it was almost like the feeling that I got from it was like it was trying to lure me or my dogs out, right? And then these red eyes was something much bigger that was waiting for me and my dogs to come outside. Um, but yeah, I switched the light off. It ran out of the driveway, and then I looked back to see those red eyes again, and my dogs had stopped barking at this point and were no longer trying to like scratch at the door. And I turned around, I went and grabbed my gun, I threw the magazine in, loaded the round into the chamber, and sat down on my couch expecting whatever that thing was to come through the window, burst through the door, whatever. And we just sat at on the couch, but one dog on each side of me, and they both they never moved. They sat, they didn't lay down, I mean, eventually they did, but at first, for a while, they just like sat there at attention, like, and they were both looking around with me too. And I was trying. I had all the lights off and everything, and I was just trying to sit there and listen to what's out going on outside and stuff. And I heard the coyotes for a little bit longer, but eventually it went away, and I fell asleep on the couch with my head straight back. So I was sitting, and my head was like right straight back in on the back of the couch. So I was looking straight up at the ceiling, and I woke up with the freaking worst pain in my neck. But yeah, for every night after that, since I always looked out there to see before I went to bed, or if I would end up getting up to go to the bathroom or anything like that, I would always look out there to see if it would ever be there again. And I never saw it again. But for the longest time, I didn't know what to attribute that to until I started hearing Dogman stories. And um, as far as things that I've looked into, that's Dogman is the closest thing that that I can attribute this this experience to. Um, so yeah, that was, like I said, that was 2016, Shapley, Maine. But yeah, man, it scared the crap out of me, and I don't ever want to experience that again. So, but yeah, thanks again for coming on the show. I really appreciate you, man, and I hope you have a good night.
Thank you for everyone who once again stopped by for another episode of Midnight Lycanthropy here on StarFox Radio. If you do enjoy my content, please like, subscribe, and share it. Feed the algorithm. And until next time, stay safe out there and be good people.